It's time to talk radios again. And I have a pretty cool little unit that I was sent to give it a test and see what I thought about it. And it's from a company called TID Radio. Now, the only time I had heard of TID Radio before was a little wireless adapter that allowed you to program certain radios via your cell phone instead of using something like Chirp. And it didn't work very well. It was buggy, it was sloppy the way the code was. It didn't work well. It's gotten better, trust me. It has gotten better to where it's actually useful, and I can use that in the field to program the Bofang UV5R, the Radiotity GM30, and a bunch of other radios. But today, we're not talking about that. We're talking about an actual radio that they make. So let's open it up. I'll show you what we got and see what we're talking about here. Now this one does retail for $49.99, so 50 bucks, and we'll see how it goes. So we have the radio unit itself, which is nice. I mean, it's got for some reason, it just has this nice feel to it. It's not rubberized, but it is textured. I mean, it's just got some extra weight. I like the way that feels. So there's a GMRS radio antenna. We have a power brick and a USB-C, USB-A to USB-C cable in here, and we use that for charging. There's a USB-C port on the bottom for charging it. Love that. It does come with just a base station for charging, which has USB-C in the back. So same power supply. You can either charge directly to the battery or you can put it in here and drop it in here. And this is a really nice fit. You know, if you've ever used the UV5R base, man, it is just so wobbly in there. And this just fits in here really, really nice. So I like that. Has a little hand strap there. And we have a belt clip with a couple screws. What's nice about this belt grip is it actually attaches to a metal base on the radio, not on the battery like some radios. To me, that is a major fail when you need to replace the battery, or if you have multiple batteries. Having the belt strap on the battery doesn't make any sense, but having it here on a nice metal plate, nice. Now, the thing about this radio is it not only supports GMRS, it also supports ham radio frequencies. So what do we have in the box? We have a ham radio antenna. So this is good for the bands that are supported on here. Great. Now, before the comments light up and people tell me that's not legal, you can't have GMRS and ham on the same radio, blah, blah, and it's not going to work because you have both antennas. And cool your roll there a little bit. Let's explain. This can be switched between GMRS or ham. And it's fairly simple. You just power it on with the push to talk, and either the #0 or star key will determine how it boots up. So when I got it, it was in ham radio mode. I'm working on my ham radio license. I don't have it yet. It's just a pain in my butt to do the studying for it. But GMRS, I have my GMRS license, so I'm good to go there. So I power it up, and I believe it's push to talk and 0. It comes up and it asks if I want to go into GMRS mode. I switch it over, and I put the GMRS antenna on, and we are good to roll. So pretty basic, right? Let's talk specs here a little bit. Now they claim this is a 10-watt radio, and honestly, I don't know if it is or not. Originally this came out and it was 10 watts, and then they re-released it as 8 watts, and now it's re-released again as 10 watts, but it's still the H8 Gen 2. So whether it's actually putting out 10 watts or not, I couldn't tell you. I don't have a good enough means of testing it to double check that. The battery is 3,000 milliamp hours, supports 199 channels, a large color screen, we'll get to that, and better display sync. I don't really know what they mean by that. On VHF, it supports 144 to 148 megahertz, the 2-meter band, and okay. I mean, it's got a lot of built-in functions and settings and things, scanning functions, message, mic gains, all the standard stuff that you would expect. Now, the cool thing about it is, sure, I can just plug this in and program it with Chirp, which I did because I'm familiar with it and I have all my settings already in there for the repeaters that I use and a specific setup when we're off-road so that all of our radios communicate with each other, and all that is some privacy codes just so we don't hear other people. However, what's cool about this one is it has Bluetooth functionality, so I can use their app to program it. Let's take a look. So I'm going to turn it on, and we see we've got the frequency. We're on GMRS 15, and the next one says M600, which is Metro 600, which is our repeater that I use here. That I'm in DCS mode. That's channel 25 that I'm using, and I have some settings here. And I see 0 to 10 power. If I click it down and talk, I see that it goes to 10, so I'm assuming that means 10 watts. Again, don't know. I will say that in my range test that I did, I was able to hit a repeater that was pretty darn far away that I've never been able to hit with any other handheld radio. So functionality-wise, it worked amazingly well. So I'm going to go into the Oddmaster app. Okay, got the app on, and there is a BL button on here. So I'm going to push that, make sure the Bluetooth icon appears on there, and I'm going to go to program. We'll connect to the radio. We'll go to the H8 GMRS, do a read. It's going to pull in all the settings that are on the radio currently. Takes a moment. I'll have a Monster Energy drink. No, I'm not sponsored, but I sure would like to be. Great. Now we can see the channels. We can go to our functions, get radio-specific functions. Let's go back to channels. This is the only thing about it that I'm not really a big fan of. I like the interface of Chirp. I can see everything in one go, and I can just click on something that I need to change. Here, I don't really have a good sense of what it's doing. So here's all the different channels. Okay, why don't I have the name on here? If I've named one of these M600 or B750, I should be able to see it. So I really don't know what's what on here. Now, once I go in and I can see, okay, this one is on channel 22. I'm on DCS 065. I've got a name on here. Great. That's not the channel I wanted. Great. Let's go back to 21. Is that one I wanted? No, that's 21. Let me guess again. And let's go up to 30. Oh, okay. So here's one that I've programmed. So finding one that I want to edit is just difficult in the app. However, okay, what really makes this kind of interesting is from my computer, I can go to their website, which is much easier to work with than the app. I can do all my programming sitting on my laptop, come over here, log in, and just write that profile to the radio. So I don't have to do the programming in this app. I can just use it as an interface to pull the programming from their website and send it to the radio. That's kind of cool. And vice versa, I can take the radio, any settings I've done on there, save it, and then bring those settings up on the laptop when I go there. So that, to me, adds to the functionality level. So let's back up to what all that just meant, all right? First off, I prefer programming in Chirp. I think it's super easy. Once you know it, it's pretty easy to go from one radio to the other. And I had to set up like 6 different repeaters, as well as our own custom channel that we use. And doing that either through the app or through their website, it's kind of a pain when I already have that information in Chirp. So what I did, I brought it up in Chirp, connected the radio to it, pulled down the settings, made my changes, sent it back up here. Then I come over to the app, I read it and save it. So now if we're on a trail with somebody or we meet up with somebody and they're like, oh man, I just got a TID radio, but I haven't had a chance to program it yet. I'm like, I can do that. Connect to it, hit write, boom, done. So really handy to be able to help somebody else who has the radio without me having to carry my laptop around. So that is a big plus. I'm very happy with that. We did try this out on some trails, making sure that there were like trees and other obstructions between us, and this radio has worked beautifully. Let's wrap it up. What's my summary on it? Well, as I've said, I have a Bofang UV5R, Radiodity GM30, TalkPod A36. I've gone through a number of different radios, and those are all in service. I mean, we use them all. We hand them out at events and things if need be. You know, we share them if someone forgot a radio, whatever. And those have all been good radios. And my favorite radio, and I'm not going to, hold back on that, has been the Radiodity GM30. It's been a solid performer until now. So for a couple of reasons, the TID radio is now my favorite radio. And let's go over it, right? For some reason, and maybe it's just the size of my hands. I mean, I have got pretty big hands with giant sausage fingers, and I like the feel of this radio. And for me, how something feels, as long as it works the way it's intended, if it feels good in your hand, it just gives you a good impression. And I like the way this thing feels. So there's that. The features that are on it, great. The beacon, the light, okay, those are fine. They're pretty standard. The FM radio, why would I ever use them? If I'm in a place where I'm using this, there's no FM radio reception. So I don't need FM radio. The NOAA channels, the NOAA weather channels, I literally have never used those in the history of me owning radios. So if you're into that, that's cool. You want to get a quick weather report? Sure. Tune into one of the NOAA channels. I've just never used it. The things that are important to me are the belt strap, the belt hoop thing here, going into a metal plate that's not part of the battery. The USB-C charging not being part of the battery, just being integrated in here. The quality feel of the controls, how they work. The fact that I can go back to ham radio and it has a antenna that's appropriate for ham radio. And so you're not going to be switching, or you shouldn't really be switching back and forth on the same radio between GMRS frequencies and ham radio frequencies with the same antenna. One of them is not going to work as well as the other, or you're going to have an antenna that is designed to be the best of both worlds, which means it's going to suck for both. So there's that. So why you would want to go that route is beyond me. So for me, right now, this radio has nailed it in terms of functionality, the feel of it, the quality of it, the programmability of it. It really has done a great job. So now, okay. So there's my review. I like it. I'm happy with it. I think it's a great purchase if you're looking for it. Now, the good part. Here's the good part. If you go to their website, tidradio.com, and use discount code TrailTraveler, no spaces, you will get a 15% discount off of this. Not bad. It knocks $7 off or so, right? I mean, $50, 15% should be about $7, right? So that is a great deal if you're looking for a radio. Getting this thing in, around the $42 mark, $43 mark makes it an excellent purchase. I highly recommend it, and that's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Kerry with Trail Traveler. Stay safe out there and in contact with people. We'll see you on the trails.